Namaste, dzień dobry, assalamu alaikum, ciao, konnichiwa, privet, hola, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Ken at 10. To you this fine, where are we? It's Thursday, the 10th of November, 2022, and here we are in the middle of one of those, dare I say it, unprecedented times yet again. A few things in the news caught my eye today that I thought I'd talk to you about. The first one is what's going to happen in terms of the mini budget, which is coming up on the 17th, or the autumn statement. And Jeremy Hunt is planning a shake-up, and reportedly he's talking about a shake-up of capital gains tax. How will this hit you? Well, they say that they want to increase the revenues from the current £10 billion a year. And the way they're going to do this, allegedly, is they're going to halve the £12,300 tax-free allowance to £6,000 and also raise the rate of tax paid on gains. Currently, higher rate taxpayers pay 20% rate on assets such as shares and 28% on property like second homes. And basic rate taxpayers 10% on investments and 18% on investment on residential property, investment property, that is. Of course, there's no tax at the moment on your principal home sale. That's important to clear. But apparently officials have drawn up plans for raising each of the rates, but they've yet to decide how. However, Jacob Rees-Mogg has warned increasing the tax risks landlords leaving the market and damaging the wider economy. The other thing that caught my eye that I thought was really important to note and talk about was Grenfell. As many of you will know, it's very close to my heart there because it was so close to home for us. Awful tragedy. It seems like only yesterday, so many lives lost needlessly. And the council, and this is an article now in BBC News, Daily Mail and The Independent, the council has apologised unreservedly for ways in which it failed Grenfell residents during the tragedy. During the closing statements to the long-running public inquiry, the QC for the council said there appeared to be a culture of gaming the system in some parts of the construction safety industry that were working in a sector that some critics might describe as being not fit for purpose. Well, that's an understatement. He told inquiry chair, Mr. Chairman, I have no doubt that when you have embarked on this inquiry, you expected to identify a sizable number of failings, but even you may have been surprised by the nature, scale, and extent of the failings, which you and the inquiry team have so effectively uncovered. So it apologizes unreservedly across various areas, including its building control service, its monitoring of the tenant management organisation, and self-closing doors. Well, hopefully we can learn something from it going forward. It's a terrible tragedy and has led to such a knock-on effect to so many people in so many negative ways. But it's good to see that at least there's ownership of some of the reasons for that terrible tragedy. This may have slipped under the radar for you, but we actually have a new housing minister, Lucy Fraser. She's the 14th housing minister in 12 years. 14 housing ministers. I mean, that underlines how ridiculous it is, doesn't it? How is a housing minister supposed to have any impact or influence whatsoever if they don't get time in post to make changes? Interestingly, she's a London landlord. I wonder what impact that will have on her influence in the sector, especially with all the tax changes we've got coming up. It could be positive, but then again, she'll probably not be in post long enough that any of it matters anyway, the way things are looking. As far as the weather's concerned, here in southwest London, it is, let's have a look out there. It's kind of grey and overcast, but not too bad. It's quite mild for the time of year. Of course, we've got the tube strike today. Any of you that were kind enough to think about joining us in queue today for my daughter's book signing, it has been cancelled, I'm afraid. We will be rearranging that, but unfortunately for her, with no tubes around, she's no way of getting from work to it. And many of the people that wanted to go also can't get there. So tube strike day today. The roads out there are a bit manic, as you might expect, and people are struggling to get to work. As far as the market's concerned, still busy. We're getting calls every day from buyers and sellers, and things are still busy. The pipeline's largely holding steady. So sales are proceeding. People are going through with the purchases that they've already agreed. As far as the market's concerned and interest rates, well, there's a lot of pressure coming from interest rates going up. Not the base rate, but actually the interest rates, the real interest rates that lenders are actually using. At the moment, for instance, we just got notification of TMW, their new rate, standard variable rate for buy-to-let investors is 7%. Now, for many investors, that will be up from 1 to 2%. trebling their expenses in the buy-to-let sector, and will lead to a sell-off, no doubt, because that, on top of the tax changes, both right down to Section 24, that is the inability of higher rate taxpayers to offset the full amount of their interest payments against their tax bill, meaning that already there are some situations where they were paying back to the system and being busy fools, effectively. Many of those people are sitting on large profits, paper profits, and will look to realise them, especially now that they're looking at higher capital gains tax rates. They might look to dispose more quickly than they might have otherwise done, depending on what happens next week. I do think a lot of people will be wondering what's going to happen. None of it's likely to be good news for the vast majority of us, but it'd be interesting to see where we go from there. As far as the rental market's concerned, it's crazy out there. As usual, we're finding that there's too many tenants and not enough property. Hopefully that will change around within the next few months, but I can't see an easy way around it, if I'm honest. I think that there are professional investors coming into the sector. We've always got our larger professional buyers that are out there looking. Many of those are holding back to see if there's any bargain opportunities beginning of the year. I know that's ruthless and awful, but it is what it is. There's an old saying that be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. You do find that some of the smart money out there is looking to capitalize on that. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a fantastic Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition. Till then, look after yourselves, and if you can, your family and friends. Ciao.